I had no doubt in my mind that with this collection, we are going to set agenda. More importantly, we are going to enforce social ethics. Because part of the problem of Nigeria is that the state is too powerful and the society is too weak. So when the state begins to misbehave, the weak society has no power to hold them into control. So we begin to do social ethicizing. So we not only report, we will not only inform, we will also set agenda.
Welcome to the Agenda on Dominion Broadcast Group. I am Chike Ubogo. On the agenda today, we'll be looking at two major issues. We'll be looking at local government financial autonomy, and then we'll be looking at insecurity. But first, let's start with this. 10 months after the Supreme Court delivered judgment in the suit filed by the federal government to enforce local government autonomy, it is yet to implement the verdict, raising concerns on the motive behind the hurriedly instituted suit. Widely regarded as a landmark ruling that would rescue local government councils from their rapacious state governors, the Supreme Court had, after an expedited hearing, granted the prayers, ordering the allocations meant for local governments be paid directly to them. In further declaration, the practice of state governments retaining local government funds as unconstitutional was also part of it. The judgment, carried out by a 7-man panel of the court led by Justice Emmanuel Agim, also held that Nigeria has 3 arms of government: the federal, the state, and local government. According to the court, no state government has the power to appoint a caretaker committee because the local government council is only recognizable with a democratically elected government. And I quote, "A democratically elected local government is sacrosanct and non-negotiable." That's according to the court. End of quote. He also added that the use of a caretaker committee amounted to a violation of the 1999 Constitution. And then the court further held that the state governments have been perpetuating a dangerous trend through their refusal to allow democratically elected local government councils in their state, or through the appointment and removal of caretaker councils. It consequently ordered an immediate compliance with the judgment immediately the verdict was delivered. Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, and the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees went into jubilation, declaring that freedom had come to the local governments at last. Many Nigerians, including opposition politicians, also hailed the judgment. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was also lauded by many for initiating the move to ensure democratic governance in the local councils. But about a month after the Supreme Court judgment, the federal government announced through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, inaugurated an interministerial committee to enforce the verdict. Well, in a statement by the Director of Information and Public Relations to the SGF, Segun Imohosai, named members of the committee to include the SGF himself as chairman, with all the members of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Accountant General of the Federation, Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Chairman, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, representative of state governors and representative of local governments. The committee met for months, and its undisclosed report was further handed over to a review panel, which also submitted a report. It is, however, surprising that months after the Apex Court judgment for immediate implementation, the verdict has not been enforced. All right, joining me this morning to discuss this in the studio is in-house analyst, yes, John Izuchukwu. John Izuchukwu is also a development researcher. Yes, John, good morning. It's good to have you this morning again.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
You're all white, and your white is shining.
Thank you very much. We've got to make ourselves happy.
All right,
in a country where happiness is now a luxury.
Happiness is a luxury. Well, a quick one. Local government autonomy at the moment. We have, it's about a year now, and then the jubilation seems to be a farce at the moment. Well, was the judgment hurriedly given? Are there lacunas to implementing the judgment? What is really happening from your own perspective?
Yes, you see, the problem with Nigeria is not with that we don't have enough laws. And let me say that you cannot be more learned than the learned justices who sat and in their wisdom gave that judgment. Because that is what is called the principle of necessity. If we will get development down to the grassroots, howbeit the current challenges or the lacuna in our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended, Section 7 gave the power to have a local government election. Section 162 says the financial, restrict the financial autonomy of the local government. However, based on the principle of necessity, we need to bring development close to the people. It is common sense to allow such, a ruling gain ground and start, implementing it. But again, you will also see the insincerity and hypocrisy of the political elite, because you will expect that such a laudable, move by the government, particularly by this administration, to bring that, face of democracy we have been yearning for a long time, very close to the Nigerian people. Now the governors and those in power are working so hard to impede it. But again, you see that a lot of social engineering need to continue. We need to continue this conversation. The civic space need to get more serious so that we can take this advocacy down to those who need it. We need the local government financial autonomy. And as soon as possible, again, you are worried also. Look at the National Assembly with the speed at which they attended to the issue of emergency rule in Rivers State. We would expect them to also, be swift in amending the constitution to accommodate the financial autonomy of the local government. But again, you see the shenanigans of the political elite, because those who are the Senate, most of them are also former governors, and they are also, sympathetic in a way, of the current governors in the various states. So I think that is something we need to advocate more to see it become a reality in our government space.
No doubt, the local government councils are supposed to be the section of government that is closest to the people. However, some would proceed that maybe the issue with the Constitution, Section 162, subsection 6, 7, 8 of that Constitution, which talks about state and local government having a joint account, a local government and state account, and then monies will be given to local governments through the state governors. However, that part of that Constitution has not been reviewed or amended, and maybe that's what is slowing things down in implementing the Supreme Court judgment. So one will ask again, the Supreme Court judgment and the Constitution, which one is more, which one gains more ground in the polity of the Nigerian state?
You see, it is a common law. I'm not a lawyer, but it's a common knowledge that when there is any judgment that conflicts with the Constitution of the Federal Republic, immediately the Constitution takes precedence. However, when you look at the current issue on ground, I don't think that the learned justices themselves, that judgment was in a hurry, because this is what we have been saying all this while. So Nigeria is a country where everything that works elsewhere don't seem to be working here. Because we look at the loopholes of everything, and all over the world, no constitution is 100% perfect. There are loopholes in most constitutions of the world. But the people themselves, we want it to work, and that's why we talk about strong institutions. It is people who make strong institutions. People who are behind the implementation of policies. So what do you stand to gain? That your local governments are moribund. The roads are not, some governors have not even been to certain local government in their state for their 80 years. So you are gaining nothing. It's to your credit that local governments are developed. And the argument as to whether they are going to embezzle money, they will be accountable, they are going to build an hegemony and become strong and enough to contend with the governors, they are flimsy arguments. In the democratic arrangement, you can't win everything, because it's about number. It's about gaining the loyalty of the people. So you are going to lose some and gain some. So for me, if we are development minded and we are serious about bringing development close to the people, and not just doing a few things in the state capital and then assume that 8 years you have done something reasonable. So it's worrisome. But again, you also look at the sincerity of those who are giving this judgment. But one would expect that Mr. President by now would have advanced, a move to amend the Constitution to accommodate this issue, so that we can move on without any hindrance, so that CBN can be paying directly to a local government account. But today, there's an impediment as to that.
All right, the section of that Constitution I was talking about, Section 162, subsection 6, states that each state should maintain a special account to be called State Joint Local Government Account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state. Subsection 7 says, each state shall pay to local government councils in its area of jurisdiction such proportion of its total revenue on such terms in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. So, emphasis on subsection 6 of the Constitution at this time. Well, maybe there needs to be an amendment of our Constitution before we could move on with any implementation of laws. But
even before the amendment, people of good conscience should begin to implement that.
If it is not law, how do you implement?
Okay, you see, that's the problem. It's not everything that is written that we do today. There are things you do that are not written anywhere, but they are commonsensical. They will bring development to your environment. Do you understand? So, one would expect that we have people in government who are, concerned about their people enough to, entrench this development and allow development to, start getting to the very communities that have been neglected for years. The concern is there, the lacuna is there, but beyond the concern and the lacuna, can't we advance development?
All right, state governments that were initially jittery, that their grip on local government allocations was about to be loosened with the direct payment of local government funds to the council, have since relaxed and then continue their control of funds as usual.
And so why can't the president, with the same fiat with which they decided that allocation will not get to River State, why can't the president and the CBN, with the same fiat, stop that allocation going to the state and let it go to the local government? Okay, and then we go to court.
That's the next question I wanted to ask you. What stops the federal government and the CBN from paying directly to local governments?
Again, you also question the sincerity of this administration, Because you can also look at it from this perspective. Is it that this judgment was actually given to gain certain level or certain political mileage? Is it that they did that arrangement in order to win the heart of Nigeria, albeit having legitimacy issue all this while? Because you can't tell me that with the same fiat that you muzzle the constitution, an entire Nigerian institution, to stop allocation going to Rivers State. You can't use the same fiat to implement this. This is going to get to my village. My village has no road, has no light, has nothing to show that they are part of the country. And so this policy, this judgment ensure that resources will get down to those who man local government so that they can bring development to the locals. It's not every 4 years you go back to demand for vote from them, and then they will gladly give you the vote, and at the end of the day, you will not do anything for them. So I think that we need to also check the sincerity of the government and those who are behind all of this.
All right, we'll go on the break, and when we come back, the second segment of this program is what we'll be kicking off in a bit. Stick around, don't go away.
I had no doubt in my mind that with this collection, we are going to set agenda. More importantly, we are going to enforce social ethics. Because part of the problem of Nigeria is that the state is too powerful and the society is too weak. So when the state begins to misbehave, the weak society has no power to hold them into control. So we begin to do social ethicizing. So we not only report, we will not only inform, we will also set agenda.
All right, welcome back from that break. Still the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. Nigeria has long been regarded as one of Africa's economic powerhouses due to its abundant resources and diversified populace. As a developing nation, Nigeria grapples with several security challenges that directly impact its economy, ranging from insurgency to conflicts between farmers and herders, to organized crime, looting and abduction for ransom. These security threats not only undermine national stability and the rule of law, but also have adverse effects on the economy. There's a high level of insecurity in the country, particularly in the northern region, where the Islamist jihadist group Boko Haram has become a threat to business activities. The lack of security continues to deter prospective investors from engaging in business activities in these areas, leading to stagnation of commercial operations. Nigeria have stopped operations due to the surge of lingering insurgency. Banditry has severe and far-reaching consequences for the economy of the affected areas. And even the incessant activities of bandits have created a pervasive sense of fear and insecurity, directly impacting economic activities and development in the region. Lately, abduction for ransom has become the new money venture for kidnappers, having recorded an average of 13 persons abducted daily in Nigeria in the first half of 2021. Within 6 months, this translated to a harrowing 2,371 individuals falling victim to kidnapping. In 2024, over 100 abduction cases have been recorded by the police. This surge in abductions has instilled a pervasive sense of fear and uncertainty among the people, with many feeling increasingly vulnerable to such threats. The rich think they are the target. Meanwhile, in the case of Nigeria's insecurity, there are no targeted groups, just victims of different tribes and classes. Among the most alarming indications of this crisis is the incessant wave of attacks on military bases across the country. These audacious assaults not only undermine the morale and operational capacity of the armed forces, but also highlight deep-rooted vulnerabilities within the country's security architecture. The repeated targeting of military installations, symbols of national strength and defense, raises urgent questions about intelligence failures, internal sabotage, and the overall condition or coordination of the country's security efforts. Joining the conversation this morning is retired Lieutenant Colonel Michael Adebayo Ajayi. Good morning, sir, and good to have you in the studio this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning to the viewers at home also.
Well, looking at you, yes, you look very much like a retired Lieutenant Colonel. Do you still do the salute?
Yes, I can still salute.
You can still salute?
They say a soldier is always a soldier.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
That's
well,
right.
Soldier go, soldier come, barrack still remain.
That's right.
All right, a quick one, sir. The state of insecurity in the country lately has been alarming. Just some days back, we had the issue of the APC chairman in Ose local government area for Ondo State, kidnapped and was even eventually killed despite ransoms being paid. Now, as a retired Lieutenant Colonel and security chief too, looking at this, are you not still worried that in 2025 we're still grappling with insecurity issues?
Well, thank you very much. There is no Nigerian that will be happy, to witness what we are going through now as a nation, particularly as it concerns security of the country. The event that we are undergoing now, that is fighting insurgents, is a mighty one. It's a terrible one. It's something that maybe has been ruining so many nations. So many nations, not only in Nigeria, but even outside the country. International, you have insurgency in Vietnam, you have in Afghanistan, you have in Sudan, you have in so many areas. So no country is can be said that you are free from not having this type of problem. When it's like people will say, when it gets to your turn, you have to just accept and see what effort you can do. This phase will go away again. The insurgency phase will not last forever. It will go away, but this is the turn of Nigeria, to go through that process.
Sorry, sir, when you say insurgency, the phase will go away, it's been with us for a while. It just became more prominent in 2014, 2015, the beginning of the Chibok girls and all that. That's when Nigerians became conscious of the fact that this is really living with us. But it's been with us for a while. So if you're saying that this phase will go away, when will this go away? What is the proactive nature of the government to making sure that this goes off the Nigerian grid? That is the phase we are in now. Every person is now aware, that about this. Just like you said, when it first, when people started observing, this type of insurgency, maybe about 10 to 15 years ago, it became strange. And those who have
observed or fought this type of war before have to start explaining to us that this war is different from the type of war that we undertook maybe during the Biafra and Nigerian war, in which you have the enemy on one side and then the friendly forces, that is another force on the other side. So when you are marching, when you are going to the battle, you know that yes, you are facing, this is where the enemies are and you are going to face, you are facing them. But this one is different in that the enemy also can even be in your household. So how to be able to identify those people that are in your household is making the war to be prolonged, in that you have said it, in your opening remarks. Intelligence will have to be there to listen. Surveillance has to be there to listen. The political will of the government also has to be there to listen. What we are getting in Nigeria now is that we have a problem in that the political will is not really there to see how this war can be sorted out on time. Like I said, if you look at the countries that maybe have faced this type of war, some of them even will take up to 20, 25 years. If you go to Vietnam, even with the powers of the United States that time, going there, they find it difficult to be able to win the war. Eventually, they have to leave. Afghanistan also, they have to leave also. So this is a problem that we have until we can get that political will. Just like my brother who was talking about the local government autonomy also is there. The political will is where we are having a problem, when we come to this type of war. Because you said, like those of us in the military, I always say that, well, when there's a problem, anytime you are using us, the politicians, they use us as fire brigade, because they are the one that will go and cause the problem through their own type of policy. All this emanate from where there's no employment, the people are not happy, there are policies that have been made. Supreme Court has made a judgment on autonomy. There's no person that wants to carry it out. And this is, even if you call those governors to come and tell you the advantages of this autonomy, they will stay sweating on the television. But are they ready? Why are we not having that? So the same thing. When we say that we want to combat insecurity, and then the military are there, they go and fight the war, they go to the place, you are telling them again that they should hold the ground. That one is going to cause problem, for them. When we are fighting this type of war, you don't tell the military to start holding ground for you. When they have gone to a place to go and liberate that place, after they finish liberating, the civilian government, whether it's local government, whether it's state, will come in and take over that place with them. The police will now start running the security of that place. But then these political heads, they will come in, flood the place with whatever they can do to attract, to make sure they win the hearts and mind of those people. But we are leaving everything to the military to do. And that is why we're having problem. The military are so spread on the ground. They fight everywhere. They are going to hold the ground. The civilians are not ready to come in. Even when they come to distribution of water and food, they want the military also to be doing it. That is not the job of this. This will prolong this war if we don't want to if the political people, our political colleagues, if they are not coming in to come and do the right thing. They must come in, the local government where they have taken over the land, they must come in, they must start, taking control. In fact, they are the type of people that we know with this. Because if you don't do well for those people, the civilians that are in that area, before you know, they are on the other side. They are the ones that are giving the Boko Haram, the ISWAP and all this intelligence that we are talking about. And some of them, just like we also, corruption also that has been holding us down in the country, also is part of it. The military, some of those boys also, they see the lifestyle of some of our politicians. I'm sure some of the people who join the military also will have now said, see this man, when did he become councillor, and he's seen what he's building, and I'm here running about in the bush. Have you seen the food they give to the soldiers in the operation? In fact, I look at it and I compare it to even what they have, the other countries, how they are fed. In those days, we used to have, as you are going to operation, they give you your pack, all these corn beans, rice, cooked beans, garlic, everything inside the tin. And then you enjoy. But now you go to a place and then they serve food. Some food is just like they put colored water and then they say it's soup. How do you want? If the soldiers there cannot have enough to eat, he cannot. How does he want to fight? How does he want to carry his food? If the soldier there is having diarrhea, dysentery, how will he now go have the will to fight? So I believe that maybe from my own perspective that the politicians, they must do more to assist the military. And not that maybe we do not have these are the soldiers who have gone outside the country. They have gone to Kenya, they have gone to Mogadishu, they have gone to Sierra Leone, they have gone to Liberia, and they did well. United Nations, Secretary General used to praise our military for performing well outside the country. So why would they not want to do well in this? But I believe that if the shorter period, the shorter period that we are looking for this to end, the civilians must be able to give us support and see what they can do to this.
Okay,
when we talk, let me just mention.
Okay, there's one question I want to ask you, and that question is, you've laid down some issues on ground, factors militating the end of the war, this against the insurgency. You've talked about political will, and you've talked about welfare of soldiers, military operators. However, there's this part that really baffles me, and even most Nigerians will be asking the same question. This issue of military intelligence, it seems to be lacking, because if there's proper military intelligence, then we should be saying bye-bye to this insurgency, this war against insurgency. It shouldn't continue. These are people who use vehicles, they buy fuel. Where do they get their fuel from? They use telephones. So why did Nigerians, why were Nigerians forced to get in an NIN linking it with their phones? It's for such tracking. Is it that their own phones are special phones that cannot be tracked? They have families. These are people that move around. They purchase things. Is it that military intelligence is suffering at this time, or is it, again, not political will this time, but military will?
Well, I'm not averse to what you have mentioned, but yes, when you are fighting this type of war, intelligence is very, very, very important. In fact, that is the number one consideration. Anytime we are, apart from this type of war that, like I said, that you don't even know who the enemy is. So when you don't know who the enemy is, you have to make sure that your intelligence network is well spread, so that you work very hard on them, to be able to know what is it. So the intelligence that we have in the military, I think, that yes, we'll be talking about it, that yes, why are we not getting the report? Why are we not getting, but from those of us from outside, the veterans, those of us who have retired, we have interacted with our service colleagues and all those things to give them also advice on what is happening. But just like I also said, they also will give us that. Yeah, sometimes you give them the information and then you tell them that this is what is necessary to be able to, for them, to be able to act on it. And then you are going to get a phone call from the top and say, no. I've seen a military governor, I think it's from the east, who said they arrested, some people, even with AK-47, many of them, and then they handed them over, and then before the evening, telephone call came and said that, release those people, that this thing. So, like you said, the intelligence have identified those people, they are part of them, And I always say that when we are able to arrest just 1 or 2 out of even maybe 50 of the people that come to attack, you can get a lot of information from them. But the thing is that when you get that information and you are telling the political things, because this is something that you cannot deal with on your own. You have arrested some people. You cannot. The military is not allowed to say that maybe you want to deal with those people. You just still have to go and submit them to the political leaders, either to go to the court or to the justice system. And by the time you see them maybe coming out again, first of all, you are demoralized. Secondly, you talk about this. I don't know where this language comes from. My particular, during the time there was this Matasani riot in 1987,
88, 89.
I participated in Kaduna. I participated, and I knew one of my boss that time, because I was a young major that time, and I was very patriotic. I wasn't looking at anything political. My own was just to do the job.
Yeah.
And I found out that at a particular time, I arrested some people, who were damaging Igbo facilities and businesses, particularly these drinks, in Tudunwada area. They went to the hotel and brought out all the drinks there and broke it on the main road, so that even pass through the road was. But when I got the information, I went there and I saw, and then somebody gave me a hint that those people who did it, they are hiding inside one mosque. They put off the light in the mosque and they lie down as if they didn't do. So when I got there, I put on the light and I saw them lying down. And you have to use my boot to kick them up. That they should, all of them should stand up. And then I took them to the 9/11. That all of them should go inside. And we drove them to one different headquarters. And I was proud that, yes, this is what I've done. But, so the following morning, the GOC came and then they called me and I said, yes, sir, this is the people that I've captured, who are doing illegal things and all those things, causing more mayhem to this thing. Before I knew, there was one Gumi, the senior one, not the junior one, the senior one came. And I had some discussion with the GOC, and later I was called. I said, well, Major Ajayi, you have done well, but let's release them to Gumi. I felt deflated. So those are the type of things I'm saying. Okay, now we have got those people. Now I don't have anything more to be able to do. I've got the information that these are the people that are causing problems. Now I can't do anything more than to this thing. But then I've been disgraced by the release. We will talk about all this, the radicalization. I'm still talking about the intelligence. Yeah. You get this, you get the people arrested, they carry them forward. Before you know, the political office holder will say, no, we want to radicalize them. Because they look at them. Some of those people who are coming from the north, who are fighting the ISWAP, the Boko Haram, some of our brothers are looking at them as their own brothers. So they are reluctant to wield the big stick. And that's the problem. So I pity the military who are in the area now, because you just have to be hard. You just have to use your initiative. That's what I call it. Use your initiative to save your career, if you don't want to go.
Is it about a career or about life?
Well, the person who has come to serve the nation, actually, as a soldier, you are not even considering your own life, because you want to die because of the others. You are seeing fire coming, and in fact, I used to tell people, I said, if it was now, maybe because I'm an old man now, that there was this danger we will go through in NDA. You are approaching the enemy territory, and then the enemy fires at you, and you cannot really know where the enemy is. But you are seeing the fire coming from the front. Your commander will tell you, say, oh, everybody lie down. You lie down, and everybody is observing. Where is the fire coming from? Is it under that tree? Is it behind a rock? When they cannot see, they can just say, Uchendu, dash forward. Tell me, how can you dash forward? Well, so they are making you a running target that is still that dash forward, but that you dash forward, then everybody will be looking at, oh, where is the fire coming from? So it can hit you, it can do. I'm just talking about how selfless, you know, the soldiers are when you say so. So if you don't have the love of the country at heart, you can't say you want to die for someone else.
Okay.
If you say you want to make money, you can't say you want to join the military. You just have to say, well, I'm devoted and I'm ready to lay my life down for the country. If you come with other motive and all these things, then maybe that's why. That's why sometimes you go to NDA now, you know, not like before, because I can say again, our political office holder, they must know that the military profession is different from this political profession, where you can just say you bring your brother in and then you take him to come and be local government chairman, which is one of the problems of the local government autonomy, is that the people, they can't get autonomy because the chairman is picked by the governor. So if he's picking, do you want the chairman to lose his job? You know, he has to be obeying. See, to bring that money, even if you sign for it, even if it goes to your account, I don't know, until you can get that issue where the chairman can come independent of the governor without this. That is why you can be talking about local government autonomy. If they can look for a way to say that the election to local government chairmanship position will going to be by merit. Those who merit it will go there. Not that maybe the governor will pick here. He will pick all the governors, all the local government chairman. So the same thing they are doing in the military. You know, you want somebody to go to NDA because you think that maybe coming to and there are so many people there who cannot do the job there, and that's why we are bringing out. I was reading yesterday on the platform that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General, has gone to Maduguri to take care of the theater there. Why? They say, well, some of the junior ones, they are not doing it the way it was. That's very absurd, you know. A Lieutenant General going to war front to go and this, you know. You have subaltern, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, and this. Those are the people who are going to the general. They are there thinking, planning strategically, you know, to this.
Oh, okay, let me come to John Izuchukwu here. You've heard retired Lieutenant Colonel Ajayi talk about the bottlenecks when it comes to the military operations and the fight against insurgency. Well, valid points there. We've seen he's mentioned the issue of political will. He's also mentioned the issue of military intelligence gathering, also welfare of these officers, you know, and then motivation too, which is part of welfare. And then the last one he just mentioned now is the fact that even the Chief of Army Staff has even retired to the northeast, where he has gone to even join those officers there on the field. Now, is it about political will, or is it about sabotage? What is really going on from your own side?
Well, thank you, Chike. You see, if you go back to, let me take from what the major, our colonel said. Shortly after the war, it became clear that the amount of small arms and light weapons in circulation was huge because of the war. And then, of course, you know, successive military government came in and they did what they could do to nip it on the bud. It was then you now get the, the rise of armed robbery everywhere in Nigeria. Fast forward to this Fourth Republic. Because if I take you back to the statement of the late Deputy Governor of the CBN, Obadiah Milafia, and take you back to the statement of the former acting National Secretary of the PDP, Abubakar Baraje, and I take you back to even Burutai, the Lieutenant General Brutai, who was, in the last administration. And take you back to the statement and the findings of people like somebody like the NSA under Jonathan, General Segun Azazi.
Okay, Azazi.
Now, all of these experts had made one general statement, is that the security today is the creation of the political class.
The insecurity today.
The insecurity today is the creation of the political class. The current state of insecurity is the creation of the political class. Now, looking at it from how should the military have approached it, because we have used both the kinetic and the non-kinetic approach, and it's not working. We have spent millions de-radicalizing people that voluntarily went to Islamic school and they became radicalized. We have spent state resources.
But that doesn't mean everyone who goes to the Islamic school is radicalized.
No. Most of these people,
Yeah.
you see, I'm not the one making it up. It's available in the media, everywhere. Government is spending a lot of money to de-radicalize them. And even the United Nations has a program for de-radicalizing fundamentalists, Islamic fundamentalists. Because we must call a spade today. Of all terror groups around the world, all of them are from the same sect. Around the world is available, is an information that you can Google. Now, the concern for the average Nigerian, why we are losing the war, it appears that the military is already polarized. The military is divided along ethnicity, along religion. And they can come to dispute it because these are the issues. If they are not divided along ethnicity and religion, you cannot be empathizing with people who are destroying state resources, destroying state facility, killing innocent Nigerians. So it then means that if we are going to have the insecurity dealt with holistically, we have done not everything that needs to be done. What needs to be done is that the military need to come out of this shell to be more patriotic one more time. Otherwise, this will linger. We have heard of corruption even in the military and corruption within the political class. The resources allocated for security today is huge and it's becoming a fat cow. As some of the generals have said, the NSA today is a big office where everybody is gunning for to become fat. So if we are going to have a country where security will be stemmed, it then means that both the political class and the security agencies, of course the people, we must own the security and then begin to work together in collaboration to deal with it.
All right, retired Lieutenant Colonel Ajayi, quickly, we are just in 30 seconds. Let me ask you, if you were the Chief of Army Staff today, what would you do to stop this insurgency? Or do you believe it will never stop? You have 30 seconds.
If I was the Chief of Army Staff today, I will go to my Commander-in-Chief and tell him my mind on that the political leaders should leave us alone and let us deal with this the way we want to deal. Okay. And then whatever resources that are, if the Commander-in-Chief has given me an assignment, a mission to accomplish, I will tell him, sir, I'm going to carry it out to your satisfaction. These are the requirements I have. And once you have given me, I will do the best.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Adebayo Ajayi, retired Lieutenant Colonel Michael Adebayo Ajayi, for joining this conversation this morning. Also, Johnny Zuchukwu, thank you for being here today. Well, before we go, today is a day of its own. It is not linked to yesterday, nor should it be linked to tomorrow. Correct your mistakes with each new day and make your days worthwhile. Let's keep the conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X is at Dominion Cast. My name is Chike Ubogu. Enjoy the rest of your day and bye for now.